The fire roared high, crackling with a hungry heat that threatened to swallow everything in its path. Bound to a crude wooden stake in the center of the pit was a girl unlike any human, her lavender skin glistening with sweat under the alien sun. Her silver hair clung to her cheeks, and her luminous eyes, iridescent with shifting colors, flicked desperately across the crowd of hostile faces. She was young, perhaps no more than 20 in human years, yet her captors showed no mercy. They were reptilian raiders, broad-shouldered with scales like plated armor and jagged fangs glistening with venom. They had no intention of negotiation. Tonight, they would celebrate by roasting the alien girl alive, a spectacle of cruelty. But fate had other plans. For just beyond the ridge, hidden among the jagged rocks, crouched a lone human soldier named Marcus Kane. He had been stranded on this forsaken planet after his patrol ship was shot down. Scarred and weary, he had been surviving on grit and desperation for weeks. When he saw the girl bound and the fire licking toward her, something inside him snapped. She would not die tonight. Not if he had anything to say about it. The beginning. Marcus had never imagined himself as a hero. Before the crash, he was just another soldier in the Terran Interstellar Corps, assigned to routine patrols and scouting missions. He followed orders, kept his head down, and counted the days until leave. That changed when his ship was ambushed in the outskirts of the Carib Nebula. He remembered the blinding flash as plasma tore through the hull, the screams of comrades silenced in an instant, the violent descent into atmosphere. He survived the crash, alone, and had been wandering this hostile world ever since. The planet, called Drexers, was a wasteland of deserts and volcanic plains, home to warring tribes of reptilian marauders. Marcus learned quickly that stealth was the only way to survive. The air was heavy with ash, the nights filled with the sound of predators. He kept moving, scavenging, staying alive one day at a time, until he saw her. The girl's capture had been brutal. He had followed the raiding party at a distance, unsure at first whether he should intervene. But when he saw her chained, her head bowed yet her eyes unbroken, something stirred within him. She was no human, yet she radiated a strange innocence, a dignity that made the sight of her torment unbearable. As the raiders prepared their bonfire, Marcus checked the battered rifle he had salvaged from his wreck. It only had a handful of energy cells left. He could run, he told himself. Leave her to her fate. But his gut twisted at the thought. He had already lost too much to stand by and watch another innocent burn. He whispered to himself, "Not today." And so the human prepared to strike. The middle. The raiders jeered, raising their clawed fists as the fire grew. One of them held a torch high, ready to ignite the power beneath the girl. She closed her eyes, as though bracing for the inevitable. That was when Marcus made his move. The first shot tore through the night, searing into the raider's chest and hurling him backward into sand. Shouts erupted, the crowd scattering as panic spread. Marcus emerged from the shadows, rifle raised, his eyes hard with fury. "Step away from her," he barked, his voice echoing across the pit. For a heartbeat, the reptilian warriors hesitated, unnerved by the sudden attack. But then their leader snarled, his forked tongue flicking. "A lone off-worlder dares challenge us? Tear him apart." They charged. Marcus fired again, striking two more raiders before the rifle hissed, out of energy. He cursed, discarding it as the rest closed in. Drawing a combat knife, he met them head-on. The first raider lunged, claws slashing, but Marcus ducked low, driving the blade into its throat. Hot blood sprayed across his arm as the creature fell. Another came at him with a jagged spear. Marcus caught the shaft, twisted it free, and smashed the butt into the raider's snout, shattering bone. He fought like a cornered wolf, each strike fueled by desperation and rage. But there were too many. Claws raked his shoulder, fangs snapped inches from his face. He staggered, blood dripping into his eyes. Just when it seemed he would be overwhelmed, a piercing cry rang out. The alien girl had freed one of her hands, using her bound strength to shatter the ropes. With surprising agility, she kicked out, sending the torch tumbling and scattering flames harmlessly into the sand. Seizing the chance, Marcus grabbed a fallen spear and slashed her bonds. "Can you run?" he gasped. Her eyes blazed with defiance. "I can fight." She snatched the torch, swinging it in a wide arc that drove back the nearest raider. Marcus grinned despite his wounds. This was no helpless captive. She was a warrior in her own right. Together, they cut a path through the chaos, back to back, human and alien fighting as one. The raiders fell, snarling and hissing, until only their leader remained. The massive reptilian stalked forward, eyes burning with hate. His claws gleamed in the firelight as he hissed, "You will both burn for this." Marcus raised his stolen spear. The alien girl lifted her torch. Side by side, they charged. The clash was brutal. The leader's strength was monstrous, but Marcus fought with relentless grit while the girl struck with speed and precision. At last, Marcus drove the spear deep into the raider's chest as the girl thrust the torch into his face. With a final shriek, the leader toppled into the fire he had built for her, consumed by his own cruelty. Silence fell. The remaining raiders fled into the night. And in the stillness, the girl looked at Marcus, her iridescent eyes wide with something between awe and gratitude. "You saved me," she whispered. Marcus, panting, managed a faint smile. "Guess I did." The turning point. Her name was Lyra, daughter of a nomadic clan of starborn people hunted by the raiders. She explained how she had been captured while scouting for her kin, dragged to the pit as a sacrifice to strike fear into her people. But now, because of Marcus, she was free. When he tried to brush off his actions, saying it was just survival, Lyra shook her head. "No, you chose. You could have fled, but you didn't. Among my people, that is the mark of a true protector." The word made Marcus's chest ache. Protector. He had once been part of a squad, a brotherhood. Now he was just a survivor. But looking at Lyra, he wondered if maybe he could be more again. Over the following days, she led him to her people. They welcomed him cautiously at first, wary of outsiders, but Lyra vouched for him. They treated his wounds, fed him, and in time accepted him as an ally. Marcus learned of their struggle, how the raiders had been enslaving and slaughtering them for generations. The tribe was small, scattered, and running out of hope. But with Marcus's tactics and weapon knowledge, and Lyra's fierce leadership, they began to fight back. For the first time since the crash, Marcus felt purpose burning inside him. He wasn't just surviving anymore. He was protecting. And every time Lyra looked at him with those luminous eyes, blushing faintly when their hands brushed, he felt something he hadn't dared feel in years. The ending. The final battle came weeks later. The raiders returned in force, seeking vengeance for their fallen leader. The tribe was ready this time. Hidden traps, coordinated strikes, and Marcus's knowledge of guerrilla warfare turned the tide.